If any of our legislators want to come up and stand behind us, we appreciate the great work that has been done in this building today. I want to welcome all of you to this briefing. It's my pleasure to stand before y'all today in Mississippi's beautiful capital and alongside legislators from all across the state. We all knew that this legislative session was going to be exciting, and I think it's great that we were able to kick off the new year with an absolutely huge win for the people of Mississippi. But today is more than just a win. It's a tremendous bipartisan victory. Today we finalized the largest payroll commitment of any major economic development project in Mississippi history, and the second largest capital investment in Mississippi's history. Now, there are an awful lot of people that we need to thank, because there are a lot of people that put in significant amounts of work to make today become a reality. Of course, I want to start by thanking all of our legislators for supporting this project and for working hard to finalize it. Near unanimous support in the House and the Senate for this project. For those of you who have worked in this building for a long time, you know it is very difficult to get near unanimous support that today is Thursday. And yet we had near unanimous support in both chambers, which says a lot about the quality of this project and the opportunities that this project presents for Mississippians. I want to personally thank Lieutenant Governor Hoseman and Speaker Jason White for shepherding this legislation through their respective chambers. I also want to thank Senators Hobson and Harkins, as well as Representative Trey Lamar, Representative John Reed, Representative Cockerham for doing the appropriation bills on the floor, and also want to just acknowledge Senator Whaley, Representative Bill Kincaid, and Representative John Faulkner, because those are the three individuals that represent Marshall County. I want to personally thank MDA Executive Director Bill Cork and the entire team at the Mississippi Development Authority, who have worked tirelessly to compete for this project and to win this project. Well over 100 sites across America would have loved to have had this site, and these companies chose Marshall County, Mississippi, and it just is further evidence that Mississippi is open for business. I also want to thank Senator Roger Wicker for his support of this project. He is always available to the people of Mississippi when we need things done in Washington, D.C., and in a project of this size and this magnitude, certainly Senator Wicker's support and help has been vital in getting us to this point. I also want to thank the people at TVA. The power provider is a major reason that we were successful in winning this project, and everyone from those that are located here all the way up to their CEO have worked diligently throughout this process. I want to give a particular thank you and congratulations to the local leaders in Byhalia and Marshall County, who played a critical role in helping to prepare this site for a major economic development win. There is no doubt in my mind that the work of Justin and the 5 members of the Board of Supervisors in Marshall County, were it not for them, we would not be standing here today. Obviously, they have a little more work to be done in the coming days to finalize the local situation, but I am honored at how hard they have worked and how well they have represented not just Marshall County, but how well they have represented the people of the state of Mississippi. And finally, but most importantly, I want to thank some people who have representatives in this Capitol today, but I want to thank the folks at Accelera by Cummins, Daimler Trucks and Buses, and PACCAR for choosing to invest in Mississippi. We're thankful for you, and we're excited to see your success in the future. Now let's talk for just a second about what this historic project means. It means almost $2 billion in corporate investment. It means 2,000 new jobs will be created with an average annual salary of approximately $66,000 per year. And it means that Mississippi continues to have momentum, and this remains Mississippi's time. This investment will result in the joint venture locating advanced battery cell production operations in Marshall County. Additionally, they aim to accelerate and localize battery cell production and the battery supply chain in the United States. The company will manufacture battery cells for electric commercial vehicles and industrial applications, creating 2,000 quality manufacturing jobs in the process. The fact is that this kind of economic investment can change the entire face of a community. For Marshall County and the surrounding region, it will help do just that. But we all know that when you're talking about a $2 billion investment and $132 million in annual payroll, these dollars will not just stay in Marshall County. This is the kind of deal that will have a reverberating impact across our entire state. On top of that, this investment further cements Mississippi as a national leader in the automotive industry. We take great pride that products made in Mississippi are helping to drive this nation forward, and this deal builds on that legacy. I also want to point out that I don't believe it's lost on anybody that we've been here before. In 2022, members of the legislature came together and supported the $2.5 billion aluminum dynamics investment in Lowndes County. Now, we've come together to support a deal that invests in Marshall County. We are lifting up our state, job by job, dollar by dollar. We're going to keep our nose to the grindstone, and we're going to keep fighting for every job possible. We have an absolutely fantastic team across this state, and we're ready to compete with the best, and we're ready to beat the best and continue to win. Long story short, I don't think this is going to be the last announcement I make of a major economic development project in the great state of Mississippi. I'd like to say once again to our friends at Accelerate Mississippi who have worked tirelessly on this project and many of those that came before us, and everyone else who helped get us to this historic day. This is yet another major economic win for our state, and I have no doubt that this project will make a huge difference in the lives of literally thousands and thousands of our fellow Mississippians. At this time, I'm going to ask Speaker Jason White to come to the podium, and then following him, I'll ask Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann. Mr. Speaker.
A few comments, y'all. I want to start by congratulating Governor Reeves and his team for continuing to keep what he calls the momentum right here in Mississippi. I appreciate MDA and Bill and his team for conducting their due diligence and bringing forward an attractive proposal that benefits Mississippi. We've been saying Mississippi is open for business, and this economic development project proves bringing 2,000 jobs at an average salary of $66,000. That proves the momentum is real and that we are open for business. I want to acknowledge the swift action from the House and applaud both parties in my chamber for showing their support today. With that shared spirit of cooperation, we will continue to see economic development success stories across Mississippi. We are focused on the partnership of both new and existing economic development opportunities as we continue to bolster our workforce development through Accelerate and site readiness efforts through MDA. We continue to focus on those efforts going forward and indeed this session. It was a great day today to finalize the historic $1.9 billion capital investment in our state, And with Mississippi's momentum, there's undoubtedly more fruitful opportunities just over the horizon. Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't have long prepared remarks, so when the governor asked us to come over and talk about doing the special session, I reiterated what is obvious here again today, which is that we are open for business. And you have to look back on how we got here. We got here because we have electricity, we have water, we have a welcoming economy, we have economic benefits for every business in the state. This last year, we devoted $40 million to preparing sites that the governor could then go and sell with MDA. We continued by having 100% write-off for capital expenses in our state, leading the country in that remark. And we continued by having, as the governor has referred to it in the New York Times, as a Mississippi miracle for education. All of those are the platform that led to the leadership that's provided by the governor and MDA to close this transaction today. For us to continue that momentum, we will need to continue what we have done, which is have a tremendous economic benefit based upon the educated population that we have, based upon the ability for us to provide them with an environment in which they will prosper, and reminding everyone that comes here that Mississippi is only a big neighborhood. When you come to see us, you become one of our neighbors, and consequently, we will support you not only today, but all the days that go forward from here. It is a historic day for Mississippi, and it's based on a lot of work for a lot of people for the last few years, led by the senators, Josh Harkins and Bryce, and all the ones that are behind us, Neil Whaley, Briggs Hopson, all of our senators, all the members of the House that Jason's already spoken to, and the leadership of the governor. That's how we got here, and that's how we'll proceed from here. So congratulations to MDA, congratulations to the governor, congratulations to the citizens of the state of Mississippi who will prosper from this. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Governor. Again, the effort that has gone into this has been a monumental task, and a lot of people have played a significant role in getting us to this point. And I want to thank each and every one of you, and I look forward to taking any questions that you may have. But certainly, I think it's a monumental occasion for the state of Mississippi, and it says not only to ourselves that we can win projects of this size and magnitude, but it also says to the world that major Fortune 200 companies across this globe are willing to invest their capital because of our people. And that's something that makes me proud to be a Mississippian. So with that, I'll take questions. Ross.
Governor, you said there was near unanimous support for this legislation. The only no votes came from Republicans. Yet the Democrats who overwhelmingly supported it say they're frustrated that leaders in the legislature and you are not doing more to market projects or to try to bring economic development west of I-55 in the Delta and Southwest Mississippi. Can you give them any assurances that the next one of those next projects that you're talking about will be in an area west of I-55?
Well, what I would tell you is that, first of all, I appreciate the huge bipartisan majorities in the House and the Senate that voted for this. And while there's obviously always a lot of conversation around this particular building, at the end of the day, we get to express our pleasure and displeasure through our votes. And I think this project speaks for itself. And so I appreciate the votes of Republicans and Democrats alike. I will remind you that in the 2023 election, I didn't win Marshall County, just FYI. In fact, Marshall County is a majority-minority county. And what's going to happen at this particular facility is that you're going to see Republicans and Democrats. You're going to see folks from Marshall County and folks from the whole entire region benefit from jobs that are paying $66,000 a year. That's about 165% of the county average salary, and folks don't have to they don't have to check what political party they're a member of when they apply for jobs and ultimately get jobs there. And so what I will tell you is we've had some tremendous successes with projects east of I-55, and we've had some tremendous prospects and projects west of I-55 over the last 4 years. And it is my expectation that we're going to continue to see wins both east of I-55, west of I-55, north of I-20, and south of I-20, because we got good people in every region of our state. And we're seeing significant capital investment virtually everywhere. I can't guarantee you where the next project may locate, but I'll tell you this, I'm pretty confident that whenever the next project comes, that most people are going to be happy about it.
Governor, do we have a timeline on when construction will start and when they'll start employing people to work there?
Well, they've already, the joint venture has already started the process of hiring people, and they will start the construction as soon as possible is what I would tell you. You know, the reality is in a project like this, speed to market is incredibly important. And it was a major factor in the decision of the joint venture partners. And one of the reasons that we had such a great site that was ultimately selected is because of the investments that have been made by the local people in Marshall County. And so I can't tell you if they're going to start construction tomorrow or the day after that or a week from now or a month from now. But what I can tell you is that they're going to have a very aggressive schedule to get this functional and operational as quickly as possible.
Governor, can you speak on the foreign company that's involved in this deal and also the federal hoops that it sells to?
Yeah, so I mentioned the three equity partners in the joint venture earlier that own 30% each of the joint venture. EVE is an entity out of China that is the technology partner in this particular venture. Obvious, they will have to get CFIUS approval by the United States government. And look, there's been a lot of conversation around this, and I will tell you, we internally vetted this for a long time. And here's what I would say. At the end of the day, this is what America ought to be doing. For far too many years, technology was developed in the United States, and that technology was taken to China and manufactured in China. The reality is we need to bring jobs back to America, and the way in which you do that when the technology is owned by a private Chinese company, not one owned by the government of China, is a partnership such as this, where we bring these jobs to America to make America great again through manufacturing excellence, because we can compete in America, and we will compete on this project.
Governor, you have been critical of the Biden's clean energy initiatives in the past, and this project is brought forth in large part because of some of those initiatives. So how do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, I would respond, Bobby, y'all need to just be happy for a day. You know, attack me a little less today, and y'all can start attacking me again tomorrow. That would be my first response. But what I would say to you, because today is a day worth celebrating, and I don't limit it just to the Democrat Super PAC, I limit that to the Democrats in the legislature as well. This is a day to be excited, not one to be upset. But here's what I would say. The reality is that I have always been, when it comes to energy sources, a both and guy, not an either or. It doesn't have to be combustible engine or EVs. It can be both and I think that's where we're going to in America. I'll just give you an example why this deal makes so much sense to Mississippi in my mind. And by the way, we've talked to a lot of potential investors in the EV space that are making batteries over the last 3 to 4 years, some of which we competed for, some of which we simply said, this is just not really the counterparty that we're interested in fighting for. And what I would tell you is, just to give you an example, for Mississippi, this is a great opportunity wherein we already have a facility in the Golden Triangle that PACCAR operates for their combustible engine they announced a $200 million expansion there just on December the 20th. And so what I would also tell you is that while some in the administration and some in California think that the EV space ought to be 100% by 2035, that's not realistic. That's not going to happen in America. But right now, if you look at just the car space, only 6% of cars in the world right now are EVs. The reality is we don't have to go from 6% to 100% for this to make economic sense. In fact, if we go from 6% to 12, we just doubled the market. If we go from 6 to 18, we've tripled the market. And so what I would tell you is this is a great way for Mississippi to see really quite a great hedge in what the future holds. The other thing I will tell you is the thing that has always been in the back of my mind when we're looking at potential partners is the fact that I don't want to personally be in the business of trying to pick winners and losers in the EV technology space. The thing that I like so much about this joint venture, and I think the three joint venture partners like so much about this JV, is you've got the three of, if not the three best truck companies in the entire world that are partnered together, and so they're going to make it work. They're going to make it work because the entire industry needs it to work. And so I believe that we have, after many years of work and many years of looking at this site and looking at prospective investors, we have found the right group through this joint venture for the state of Mississippi.
Governor, are there any fears that a huge chunk of these jobs are going to be going to people coming across the state line from Tennessee, and what's going to be done to make sure that the locals in that area have the training they need to be able to do these jobs?
Well, I think that there is no doubt that that Mississippi has long borders to the west and the north and the south and the east, and so there's always the risk that some of these jobs are actually, at least initially, are going to be individuals that perhaps live in the state of Tennessee. But what I would tell you is, given the infrastructure that we have in place from this plant south, giving the millions of dollars that we put in this deal for workforce development, workforce training for our people, given the fact that the Blue Oval project is only about 60 miles to the north in Tennessee, I think what you will find is when all is said and done, the vast majority of these employees will actually live in the state of Mississippi. And for those who don't initially, my guess is you're going to see a whole bunch of them move to the state. And what I would tell you about this deal, and specifically the ROIs that we ran on this deal, we just look at this on a deal-only basis. On our ROI calculations, we don't take into account any of the third-party variables and the third-party advantages that we get from an investment like this. For instance, we don't take into account any of the fact that during construction phase, there are going to be literally millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars on the streets in Marshall County where people are eating, et cetera. I'll just give you one story. I happened to be in the Golden Triangle this past weekend. I ran into a gentleman who owns a restaurant in Columbus. He told me he had approximately 90 people employed at his restaurant, and that they were doing catering jobs just about every single day out at the Aluminum Dynamics site for all the construction workers, which we think will reach 3,000 within the next 60 days. Now, none of those jobs, none of that money was taken into account when we did this deal. And so what I would tell you is if a few of these jobs are held by individuals who happen to reside in Tennessee, I don't think they'll live there very long. And at the end of the day, if they live in Tennessee and work in Mississippi, we collect the tax withholding anyway. So it doesn't affect the ROIs on the job. But we obviously want a higher percentage living here. But just to give y'all a secret, we got about 12,000 people who work at Ingalls every day. Not all of them live in Mississippi. There's a whole bunch of people who work in the shipbuilding industry in Mobile that do live in Mississippi. Borders are open from Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee, and that's just people are going to choose to live where they want to. This deal makes economic sense for our state I am absolutely convinced of that. Seeing no other questions, again, huge, huge, huge day for the great state of Mississippi. I'm proud to be a Mississippian today, and I'm proud of everyone who stands behind me, and I'm proud of every single legislator who did their due diligence and made the right vote on this, and I appreciate each and every one of them. Thank you all, and God bless.